This is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to round 10 of the Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated OzOval V8 Supercar Series, brought to you by Inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports. Once again, Kobe Jordan behind the cameras, and in the booth tonight with myself is James Watson. How you going, James?
Going all right. Looking forward to this one. Oh boy, Talladega. If you know anything about turning left, you know there's not much more I need to say after that.
Well, things have been spicing up the last couple of weeks here, and tension's high between drivers. So let's throw a super speedway in the works, throw that spanner in there, and get all the teams going. And it's going to be action-packed tonight.
Yes, sir. Oh, yep. We're probably going to see a lot of that going on. This isn't one of the easier pit lanes to get down to because the massive amount of speed you're carrying off turn 4. I hope everyone remembers to throw their brake bias to the front to not do that.
That's only practice. We'll see tonight. Got a couple of new drivers on track as well. But don't know how much they would have run these newer V8 supercars, but I know they've ran the old series before. But, we'll see how they go tonight. So, recap from last week though at Auto Club Speedway. We saw Craig Rocky.
It counts as a super speedway.
Pretty much. We saw Craig Roffey, our championship points leader, return to the top spot on the podium with a win. Tom Pritchard joined the podium in second place, and Perry Anastakis coming home in third to make it a 1-3 podium for Rogue Sim Sports once again. But tonight we are at Talladega Super Speedway. We've got 80 laps around Talladega, 60% fuel load, and they'll only have 2 sets of tyres, so starting on one and one over the wall. But I don't think tyres will be too much of an issue here tonight. Usually they're pretty good at super speedways.
Yeah, the only issue you'll have with tires is keeping them connected to the car after the big one.
Well, we don't hope for the big one, but would like to see the big one.
We don't want it, but we wouldn't be against it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see, isn't it? Moving on to qualifying now. So, drivers just coming out for their out lap, and we'll have those results coming in soon. But our current top 10 in the championship, we'll bring that list up for you at home. When our cameraman's not slacking on the job. That's all right. There we go. So, Craig Roffey in first there with 260. So, only got a slight lead over Chris Bleakley, 16 points there to second. Cade Donnelly back in third with 200. So, Cade taking a bit of a hit on points, but still retaining third at the moment. Gary Wellman closely following on fourth there. Scott McClintock fifth. Nicholas Walsh sixth. Andy Barber seventh. Todd Maxfield eighth. And we got the tie there for ninth, 10th for Adam Malone, Tony Roffey at the moment. So we've got 2 rounds to go, and Super Speedway. That's going to make or break a few drivers tonight, I think, with points. So won't disappoint, that's for sure.
Yeah, for those battling in the championship, which is really just 2 at this point, you gotta hope you got the lucky horseshoe, because if there is anything that you need at Talladega, it's luck. Speed doesn't hurt, but you definitely need luck, because whether we want it or not, there's probably going to be at least one major calamity. So All you need to do is just make sure you're not in it and make sure your competition is.
Oh, that, and make sure you have a good pit stop as well when you need to, because that'll ruin someone's race as well. You know, speeding into pit lane or missing your pit bay, shooting over that. So any of those can play a bit of a factor as well. You know, you lose the draft then, and there goes that race.
Absolutely, provided we do get green flag pit stops, which we would like to see. But you never know when it comes to Talladega.
It'd be nice to see, wouldn't it?
It would. It would be very refreshing. I will say that.
Yeah, well, so we've got some times coming in at the moment. Craig Roffey with the fastest lap. So it's going to be a hard one to beat. The only driver into the 51.3s. Peter Matson up there with a quick lap, 51.425. Todd Maxfield, 51.427. So good to see Peter Matson up there with a nice qualifying lap.
Yeah, I believe that's his best qualifying effort since I've been around, at least helping call the action.
Well, we've got a minute to go, and pretty much those times are in, so we'll go to a bit of an ad break, and we'll come back with our starting grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Alrighty, welcome back everyone for round 10, the Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated OzOval V8 Supercar Series. And qualifying's done, and Craig Roffey's locked in the front row, starting out of P1 with Tim Blundell, actually, out of P2. Peter Matson and Todd Maxfield on the second row. Andy Barber and Gary Wellman for the third row. Lachlan Purvis and Tom Pritchard for the fourth row. And Troy Davidson and Kim Roffey for the fifth row, and that's your top 10.
Row 6 features Steve Hoppett in the 131 and Shannon Wright in the 023. Row 7 has the 3 of Adam Malone and the 888 of Ross Cheatham. Got Shane Roffey in the 61 and Ryan Barber in the 05 on row 8. Derek Jacobs in the 27 and Kay Donnelly back from his holiday in row 9. row 10 features Braden Sagasser in the 116 and Scott McClintock in the 116, rounding out the top 20. Row 11 features Perry Anastakis in the 144 and Chris Bleakley in the 92. Tony Rothby in the 85 and Nicholas Walsh in the 222 on row 12. 60 of Michael Ladder and the 83 of Troy Mortensen in row 13. Matty Raymond in the 80 and Phil Otto in the 310 on row 14. And that's your starting grid. Really good turnout for tonight's race.
Well, I was going to say, that's quite a field tonight for a day here, isn't it?
Yeah.
28 cars, so...
Starting to run out of breath reading all those names.
Yep. Usually you just roll over and there's only one or two left, but there's a few more there for you tonight. Well, be on the back straight there, and it's a full house almost. Pace truck leading the way there, and Craig Roffey's going to be taking us to the green. 80 laps at Talladega. 60% fuel load on board tonight, so I don't know, where do you reckon we'll see that first pit stop if we go green? Maybe around the 30, 35 mark?
That's what I'm thinking. I figure some guys are going to maybe try to see if they can stretch it. You know, I always like to bring up fuel mileage and fuel saving at these big races because it's always the MO I roll with, and that's always what I see around me. So, but fuel saving really doesn't seem to be a priority for a lot of those guys, as we've seen, you know, the past couple races being aggressive as heck from the get-go. So you never know what's going through everyone's mind strategy-wise.
Well, we'll find out one way or another as tonight unfolds, but we are green flag, and away we go. Craig Roffey leading us. Gary Wellman getting a nice run on the outside there.
Yeah, that's a heck of a jump. We are already 3 wide. We haven't even made it into turn 1.
Well, it's going to be an eventful night already, I can see.
Yes, sir.
Just slobbing back in there for Wellman. So even though he got that nice jump, no draft there to help keep that momentum going. We'll see how things go, but we'll just have to settle in for a little bit here, I think, and either wait for that big one or wait for a third line to form up from teams and see what happens.
See, I already got one car going down pit lane.
It's interesting. Ross Cheatham with a black flag. So 2 laps in and a black flag. That's very interesting. Something with start, maybe passed a car or something that he shouldn't have. Don't know.
Saw the 45 jump out of line and wanted to emulate him, but must have just timed it a little too quickly.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think he probably did the right thing there on pulling back in, but Derek Jacobs around the outside of everyone here at the moment, trying to get that third line started. Looks like he's got some nice pace in that car there. We won't talk about that livery, but
it's
like,
we'll just say he's the only car up in the third lane right now.
yeah.
I'm way prouder of that.
He's got one fan that's in the crowd tonight.
Anyways, for now, 3 wide for the lead.
We got Craig Roffey there on the inside. We got Tim Blundell in the middle, and Todd Maxfield on the outside there. So I was hoping to try and get that third lane and get that run around, but just sitting back there at the moment. Might need another car or two, and probably don't want to test out that side draft too early at Dega.
Honestly, though, it's working pretty good. Even with just the two of them, they're still able to stay right up there battling to hold on to the lead row. It's really impressive with only two cars, especially, you know, the third line being the longest distance around the track. You have to have a lot more momentum on your side to really make it work. And the fact that they're able to utilize it as well as they are, that fascinating and really bodes well for the end of the race when we have more cars up there.
I thought we were going to go for a four-wide moment then, almost, but
Don't give them any ideas.
Definitely getting a good run. Tim Blundell slots in front of Craig Roffey on the inside row, and that's allowed Top Maxfield to drop down into that second row.
Oh,
and it looks like
the
Tim
horse
Blundell's
pulled out.
gonna pull out of that one. He's gonna go to the rear of the field. Probably
Maybe he was.
bank
Yeah, I
that
was gonna-
lead lap, and it
Yeah.
looks like he's slowing right down. So I'd say he's gonna pull into pit lane here.
Yeah. Gets to the front, leads a lap, refuses to elaborate further, leaves.
Or he just wants to have a bit of fun. I don't know. He's dropped right off that pack though. So,
And he didn't go into pits, so yeah, I got nothing.
well, I'm impressed here with Derek Jacobs just hanging out there on that outside line, and he's at the
Right.
front by himself. Look at this.
Yeah, look at that. That is wild.
I think he's even passing. I think he's about to clear Todd Maxfield there. He's cleared. Look at that. There's some pace in that outside line and that car.
Like the reaction of everyone on the inside and the middle line, you just watching one singular car blow by all of them. It's just like that's got to be disheartening as anyone else seeing that, being like, how in the world did he pull that off?
Well, I'm sure we'll have more than one fan after this race with that move.
One might even, and look at that, you got guys coming with them. They're subscribing to his way of thinking.
It looks like they're probably going to utilize that higher lane. Like, they're right up there, and they've just absolutely left that inside lane for dead. Like, there's about 5 or 6 cars behind them now. So there's a lot of pace on that high line.
Yeah, it's kind of starting to become like an IRL Xfinity, a NASCAR Xfinity Series race at the plate tracks. With how those cars are, they seem to end up being like a long single file line towards the outside wall. Now everyone's starting to, okay, yeah, that got a little too close for comfort. Yeah, there. Yeah, now they're all going back to the inside. I guess they just didn't want to make it work like what Derek was making.
Yeah, well, I used that bit of momentum, and Shannon Wright's got himself to the front now, so he'll lead a lap. Get those bonus points out the way.
Kind of relieved this happened because, yeah, those single file line around the outside races aren't too terribly exciting for the drivers, the fans, and us broadcasters. So this is what we like to see. This is fun to talk about. This is fun to call. One single file line is not fun to call at all.
No, well, it's going to be interesting though. They'll know a little bit of strategy now on what they might need to do come the end of the race. That fast line on that outside, and to make that work, so they know the potential it has. Got old Morty there, Troy Mortensen trying to get his way up to the front. Didn't have a good run at Arca on Saturday for himself, so looking for that redemption tonight at Talladega.
And well, I was gonna say something, but given my history of the commentator's curse, I'm not going to say anything.
Throw everyone under the bus. There's only 2 more rounds.
Oh man. All right, but if something happens, it's on you. It hasn't been a great run of races for Troy Mortensen as of late, so this is just what the doctor ordered to see him up here battling for a top 5. This is the run when Morty needed, and it's cool to see him up here, you know, finally being able to be back up front, hopefully able to catch some breaks that have not been going his way as of late, like the Arcus Sparks race, and yeah, just terribly unlucky, wrong place at the wrong time on lap 2.
Yeah, well, after seeing that one and cars on their sides and inside other cars, that was a fun one to watch and call yesterday. But Morty there, he's giving Cade Donnelly a push, so Cade's back on track this week and leading that outside line, middle line I should say, so looking to try and get his way to the front, and Claire Shannon on the inside. On to lap 12 of 80 now, so
Oh no,
almost that 4 wide moment. And you almost got that commentator's curse coming out too, so
he survives for now. What I'm looking to see play out is in the 3 prior, you know, draft heavy races we've seen this season, we've kind of seen every version of it. We saw a little more of a kind of ho-hum-ish straightforward race at iRacing Super Speedway. We saw, you know, really even kind of pack racing all through with not ridiculous amount of cautions at Fontana last week. You know, that good balance. And then we saw the that Pocono race. That's all we're going to say about that. So we've seen all versions of draft racing this season. So what race are we going to see tonight? You know, knock on wood, but the fact that we're already getting close to about a quarter of the way through and we haven't, things haven't happened yet. I think we're at this point a little better than that Pocono race, and we seem to be hovering on the Fontana territory, which is exactly what you want to see from this type of racing. Not kind of meh like iRacing Super Speedway, and not a dumpster fire like Pocono.
well, so far we're smooth sailing, so hopefully we can keep this going to the pit stops. But we've got Hoppert now leading the middle lane. He's come through to say hello and going to try and bank a lap. You got Phil Otto in behind, finally out on track this week. So good to see Phil Otto there turn some laps, and Matty Ray, Mr. Sheen in behind him. Coming off a win for Arcus Sparks yesterday as well. Shannon Wright still leading that inside line with Cade Donnelly, Todd Maxfield in behind. Scott McClintock's finding his way up towards the front as well, trying to help out Derek Jacobs on that third line.
What I want to bring attention to is, you know, past this lead pack of 10 or so cars, you look beyond that and you see just a long line of cars on the inside line. Look at that. Look at all that. That is a fuel save train if I've ever seen one. Fuel mileage has to be pretty close if we're getting that big of a line chilling out behind the main action.
Well, I think you're pretty much right on that fuel saving train, but you look who's back there. You got pretty much the Rogue SimSport drivers all lined up at the back of this 3-lane pack. And then you got Southern Stars there with a couple of cars lined up as well. So a couple of teams there just wanting to set themselves up and save a bit of fuel through these laps and just keep out of trouble and see what they can do as the laps unfold. But then you got some boys sort of up the front there. You got Cade Donnelly and Todd Maxfield, but further back you got Wellman and Nicholas Walsh. And Troy Davidson back there, so not really lined up for the Sim boys. They're all having their own race at the moment, but I'm sure we'll probably see them all get together as the race unfolds when they need to as well. Getting a little bit close there at the front. Phil Otto on that outside now, trying to make his way around.
Yeah, last time through turn 2, Phil and Steve got real close on the exit. It looked like a hairy moment at any rate.
You can see there Phil trying to use that side draft a bit as well, and Steve, as Derek Jacobs has just dropped right out of that outside line, so he's sort of given that one up just in case anything goes south.
See Derek Jacobs falling back after being the lone man up in the outside lane.
Well, we saw what he was capable of and making that move around the whole field by himself, so we'll see if Phil Otto can maybe pull the same thing off, but again, getting real close there to hop it. Just a big long drag down the back straight, isn't it? 3 wide.
Yeah, you got 3 wide up here, and oh, they're getting close again. Oof.
A little bit of wandering there. A little bit. Might need to tighten up those lines a little bit, but
yeah, thankfully here at Talladega, you've got a lot more space to work with than Daytona, for example. So you can afford to have a little more space to use. But make no mistake, that space will shrink lap by lap as we get closer to that checker flag.
yeah. Steve Hoppett's definitely got a good push there from Matty Ray and behind, so if they can get Scott McClintock to close that gap and sort of get on the back of Matty Ray, they should be able to push Steve to the front for that inside line, but to make that almost 4 wide. It looks like that close call there, Shannon Wright and Steve Hoppett. Quarter of a way into this race now, James.
Yes, we are, and we're still racing nice and clean. You'll love to see it.
Well, Phil Otto just surrendering that outside line, so he's dropping back a little bit. Thought he was going to try and slide in front of Troy Mortensen there, but I think he might have just noticed that Troy coming up a bit quicker, so he'll jump on the back of him. And we're back to 2 lines. I wonder if that's just a little bit of a move to, didn't have that help on the outside line there, and, probably looking at pit stops starting to come into play soon. So, wondering what that fuel is on. Big move there from Hoppert into the inside line.
Steve was told he was clear, and he was clearing.
Lucky he didn't clear the field there.
Or clear the fence.
That was a bold move there, but paid off.
Yes, it did. Steve's just practicing for the final laps.
Well, looks like our pit stops are coming early. So Hoppert and Shannon Wright about to make the moves for pit road, I think, from this front of the inside line.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's what 60% of fuel is like. I wish I knew math.
That's 23 laps, so 7 short, but we'll see how all these fuel savers go. Maybe they can help me out on those numbers a bit more. So Matty Ray now to the front with Scott McClintock, the pace truck driver there, looking very bored. He wants to get out on track, doesn't he? He wants the big one to come out. He wants to turn some laps at Talladega. Have a look at him. He's ready to go.
Yeah. Are you sure about that? He doesn't even have the steering wheel connected. Look at that.
You only need half a wheel, don't you? Just chop the top off it. He's ready to go F1 style.
Oh. Anyways, so we got a lot of takers. Looks like a good chunk of the road team. In fact, we got all the road cars, all 1,500 of them.
We only had 28 on field, so there must be about 20 then. But a few taking that stop now, so a lap later.
We got a few black flags, and then I believe Perry Anastakis is the gray rogue car, correct?
Yeah, gray, yellow, green, yep.
Yep, yeah, he did not get in his box cleanly. I saw him have to back it up a little bit. That is going to cost him big. Like you said earlier, Paul, you want those clean pit stops. You can't make any mistake out there, and unfortunately that is a very, not race ending at this point, but a race harming mistake for Perry.
Well, and Perry, that the few black flags there, maybe speeding into pit road as well. You got Lachlan Purvis, Steve Hoppert that was at the front of the race, and Tim Blundell as well. You have a look at this now. The Sim boys starting to line up. So Troy Davidson, Nicholas Walsh, Gary Wellman there. So bit of fuel saving, and they're to the front of this pack. They're about to come down pit road. So 26 laps was what everyone could pretty much do, and that would have been with a bit of fuel saving. So see how everyone gets through pit lane. A big lock up there from Troy Davidson. He's shot right through his.
Oh man!
And I think he's.
Oh,
No, that's gonna hurt big time. So,
oh.
and I think I don't know if that's Andy Barber in front of him or Tom Pritchard.
Looks like 91 on the roof of that car.
Yeah, they just shot through as well a little bit too. So, yeah, the red and orange between the two drivers' teammates, a little bit hard to pick on there. Nicholas
Yeah,
Walsh with the black flag too there, James.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised because I was watching them come down pit road, and the speed they were taking, I'm like, there is no way in heck they got down to pit speed limit. That rough round of green flag stops there for a good chunk of the Sim Boys and the Southern Stars guys, and look at that. After looks like the round of green flag stops conclude, big advantage for a lot of the road guys. And Kate Donnelly up there pulling together a good pit stop.
Anyway, you can definitely tell who had the better stops there. Steve Hoppert at the front, but I think he'll have to serve that penalty. So I think he's actually trying to hold on to his lead lap, Steve Hoppert there. He's at the front of this pack, but in 24th. So Matty Ray in behind is actually the race leader there. So that penalty managed to get out in front of the field, but he's got to get around the whole track.
Yeah, but this is kind of a win-win for all parties. Steve gets to hold on to the lead lap, and if we do get that caution, he won't have to worry about getting a wave round or anything. And Matty Raymond is able to just lead and save fuel and not have to worry about it. It's like the best case scenario. It looks like this lead pack has got some company though.
Yeah, just looking at that. So looks like a few of the guys just catching up there now from the second pack. Ryan Barber up there towards the front now. So Scott McClintock leading that middle line, second line. Definitely going to help out the guys on that inside line, Matty Ray, Kate Donnelly, Gary Wellman. So they're going to have a bit of fuel saving there with Hoppert at the front.
Yeah, and then we have one of the other penalized cars, Tim Blundell in the 4 up there in the outside line. Helping out 05 Ryan Barber a little bit with fuel save. And oh, there goes Steve Hoppert pulling out of the lead pack.
Yeah, probably just doesn't want to be a hindrance in case something goes wrong at the front there.
Yeah.
Good choice, but that'll make him tough to get that lucky dog now. That'll go to Tim Blundell. That's still up there. Now the fuel burn will be on for Matty Ray at the front, but the race goes on. Looks like Tim Blundell maybe even just swapped out that spot with Ryan Barber as well at the front. So Ryan Barber giving a huge push there to Scott McClintock. Looks like they almost got both cars clear, but not quite. So coming into the corner. pretty much everyone running a single line now, besides Scott McClintock and Ryan Barber and Tim Blundell being that lap down.
Yeah, and I think this is what the... Oh man, that's some aggressive pushing there by Ryan Barber. I think this is what the bulk of what we're gonna see here for the middle part of this race. Outside of these two making it spicy, I don't think we're gonna get a whole lot of pushing or real aggressive driving. You know, there's still a lot of this race left. We're not even at the halfway point, so and we've still got another 2 pit stops awaiting all these drivers. So I just feel like we're gonna see a lot of guys just kind of sit back and cruise. Again, outside of these two on the outside lane.
Well, we were looking at that sort of 23 mark, and I think 26 was the most the other guys could get out with a fuel save. So, yeah, it'll be definitely another 2 stops to come. We'll be looking at around 46, 13 laps time. We'll be looking at that second stop mark.
And of course, we're at Talladega, so it's time for the obligatory broadcaster. The finish line isn't in the tri-oval, it's right there after the tri-oval. See it, guys?
It used to be there till they moved it. That one really annoyed me when they moved that. I liked where it was.
Yeah, but I believe it was Big Bill France who said, nah, it's going to be more exciting if we put the finish line down here. And, you know, give him credit, he was right.
It's more of a drag race now to get to the finish line than just trying to hold it out of the corner and just round the corner. There's the finish line. So probably prevents a few more wreckages, I think, coming out of the corner perhaps, because they know they've got to get to the finish line.
Yeah, so they just wait to do it until coming out of the tri-oval.
Ryan Barber swapping places with Scott McClintock. So we might be coming up on some lap traffic as well. So Tim Blundell will want to be slotting back in behind Troy Mortensen there, which he does. It's Nicholas Walsh that the pack's coming up on. You can see there in the background. Still got a little ways to go yet. Looks like Ryan Barber not quite clear there, so there's a little bit more of a push there to just get clear of Matty Ray. Doing a good job there using that side draft though, getting nice and close.
Yeah, the side drafts are always different, are always interesting because they tend to be different at some of the big tracks. Like to me the side draft is always a lot more extreme at Daytona because the fact you have a much narrower track width to work with, where here at Talladega you have so much more width, so you can kind of stay away from the other cars around you for the most part a little bit easier. Even if you're 3 wide, you still have a little more room to work with, so you can kind of somewhat try to protect yourself from the side draft. obviously you're still going to have cars trying to get all up in your personal space, trying to get the side draft going, but it doesn't seem as overpowered at here as it is at Daytona.
Well, that could also be, you know, another aero sort of thing with these cars, like, you know, with the NASCARs, how they sort of brought in that bubble effect with the drafting on super speedways. So that might not be something that's being implemented with these cars, because obviously they're not meant for oval. So they can definitely take advantage of, you know, being nice and close and getting right up on the bumper without that little slow down effect from the bubble.
Yeah, it's a good thing these cars do not have the next gen draft package, because the next gen is really difficult to deal with in the draft, especially, you know, at Daytona, like what I brought up, because just with how close and compact you are, the cars at the back end of the packs always seem to just naturally fall off because of that side draft. And thankfully, you don't have to worry about it in these cars. These draft a lot better. They draft a lot nicer. It just produces a lot better racing and a lot more enjoyable racing than the wackiness that is the next gen draft package.
Well, I do have to admit I did like doing a one-car run in that next gen draft package, and also dropping a few people off the road and doing so. It was quite fun, but a few angry guys doing it. So. Hoppet coming back for a bit of a run on the outside there. So looks like he's wanting to get back at the front of this to, you know, put himself back in that lucky dog spot or get his lap back.
Yeah, and speaking of draft, we saw him pretty well off of the lead pack after he kind of excused himself from the action. And here Steve is already back up, you know, trying to get back in front and unlap himself. So another good thing about the draft model for these cars is the fact that it's a lot easier to catch back up into the lead pack than it is in most other cars.
Definitely, and they're still haven't caught Nicholas Walsh yet either. They've been chasing him down for a while, and they still haven't caught up to him yet. So Nicholas still hanging on out there, and doesn't look like they've gained too much on him either from just travelling by himself to the pack.
And he's hoping it stays that way.
Well, then they're slowly chasing him down. They've got about half a length on him now. But we're going to be looking at pit stops in another 4 laps.
Yes, sir.
We rolled over that halfway mark, and yeah, we're coming to pit stop number 2. So 2 green flag pit stops. Good to see. Now we hope everyone learnt from their first pit stop mistakes and won't be repeating them.
Yeah, and this is just going to be a huge test for everyone, because it's one thing to nail one green flag pit stop. It's a whole nother animal to hit 2 green flag pit stops. And then God help us if we have a 3rd green flag pit stop, which, knock on wood, we might be.
Well, we might have to see how old mate and the pace truck's doing. he might be on the edge of his seat. He might let go of the brake pedal and just decide to roll out on track.
Caution flag, pace car on the track.
Maybe we should just throw a caution in the mix there. Well, that'll be something interesting.
Any ideas?
Maybe we need that for next season. We can just throw a random caution when we feel like it. Shake things up a bit.
Welcome back, caution clock. We missed you.
Yeah. Well, we're about to be making those pit lane stops. Pit lane's going to be lighting up. Just another lap or two. Ryan Barber leading the inside line with Matty Ray, Kay Donnelly, Scott McClintock and Troy Morty on the outside. So they're going to need to find their way onto that inside line somehow, but I'm sure no one's going to be nice enough to leave a gap for them.
Yeah, like you alluded to earlier, if what we saw holds true, we saw the guys that basically spent the entire run up in as the first few cars, that they came down around lap 23. So if that still holds, we should be seeing Matty Raymond and Kay Donnelly and so on here making their way down next lap.
Well, they did pit a little bit later, so they could probably go another lap or two anyway. So, based on that, lap 46 being the half of the 23 there, the guys at the front here will be able to probably do another lap or two from pitting later, and then the ones that are at the back this time round, those rogue sim sport drivers, they should be able to get the extra lap or two out on the ones on the front.
Plus, let's not forget that some of them were able to probably fuel save just a smidge behind Hoppet, so that could help them out, maybe get them over that last little bit they needed to maybe go an extra lap. Probably not. But at this point, your guess is as good as ours.
Well, the other thing I'm just thinking of is they've probably got 100% fuel on board now, so they're probably going to go an extra few laps anyway. So might be able to, looks like Ryan Barber is going to be the first to jump, and he just come on comms there. So yeah, managing to get those 2 extra laps because he pitted a bit later, so at the front. So the guys behind should be able to get those sort of extra 2 laps, 3 laps. Doesn't look like he even stopped then. He was going. Nope. He called he was going to pit in and kept going. So maybe
he said psych.
Well, at least he didn't do a swerve at this speed. Try and fake the pit entry and come back out in front of the pack.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, I'm coming in. Nope, haha, joke's on you.
Now we've got Hopper on the comms, and he's going for pit road. So, yeah, should be this time around maybe. We'll see a few duck into pit lane. Or not.
Negative.
We're just getting everything wrong in here.
Yeah, no kidding. Just the usual day for.
It looks like maybe Shannon Wright first to jump through pit lane. Troy on the pit, so Troy Morty. If he stitches us up now, we know that everyone's listening and they're just all stitching us up. Yeah, so it looks like this time around we're probably going to have a few in. Yeah, everyone's jumping on comms. There
Yep.
he goes. He goes the breakaway. It's very interesting that the guys at the back all sort of peeled off.
Wow, Chris Bleakley, that was very nearly disaster for P2 in the championship.
Might need to go back to a replay on that. I think we just caught the side of that one. I don't know if there was a little bit of neck code maybe from behind. Or just a touch too hard on the brake to wipe off the last couple of Ks and had a lock up. So, yeah, I think that's neck code possibly there. Yeah, well, yeah, definitely interesting to see that the ones that were at the back going for the early stop, whereas the ones at the front, they're still out there. Ryan Barbo's led half of this stint is still at the front, so he must have a good fuel mixture in that car.
Yeah, no kidding. Onboard refinery, and as we say that, here he comes.
Yeah, so he might just lining that one up with Andy Barber coming in hot there and Tom Pritchard behind. So I think Adam Malone had an unfortunate dropout at the start of this race, so he didn't rejoin and make the field.
Yeah, you don't even see him on the graphics and the top ticker.
So the longest we've got Todd Maxfield with 27 laps. So that's the furthest they could stretch it.
Wow, that is a nice entry from Gary Wellman. He was carrying some serious speed, but it looked like he was able to get it slowed down. Obviously, we'll see here in a second, but it looked to me like he nailed that.
Yeah, looks like everyone's made their pit entry. Looks like a bit of damage on the front of, is that Derek Jacobs' car down there? I don't know if that's missing a front bumper.
Yeah, that's more than a little damage. Wow. Oh, and it's back.
Well, they managed to pick it up from somewhere off the racetrack and bolt it back on. Looking a bit worse for wear, so not sure what happened there. That's definitely not going to help DJ out with the third line draft that we saw earlier.
No, that is not. But yeah, he might be able to push, maybe. But yeah, how many laps down is he even at right now?
We'll have a look at this. Wellman out of pit lane and coming out in front of this pack. So Wellman with a real nice stop, but that train's just going to come rolling on through. So he's opted to let them on through, and he'll jump on the back here.
Could he feel safe that much? I mean, we saw nearly 27 laps.
Todd Maxfield managed 27, so
Okay.
If he can fuel
Wow.
save hard, he can get home. That's a little bit of a secret there, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
So, if we can bring up the lap since pitted once again, we might get a little bit of an insight on who might have to stop and who can make it home. So, there, Ryan Barber, Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard, 3 laps. Wellman 2. So, Wellman 2, Todd Maxfield 2. It's going to be an interesting finish here for Sim Boys, if they can pull that one off. We could have 2 Sim Boys drivers that might be able to get home if they can fuel save enough.
And now, if you're the rest of the field, what do you do? Because at this point, they're the only ones that might be able to pull this off. Everyone else is probably, I don't know if I can say guaranteed to make an extra stop, but it's leaning that way at this point. So if you're anyone from like 5th on back, you're on the hardcore fuel save, trying to keep as much fuel in that car as you can, so that way you're only having to take a splash there at the end.
Yeah, well, for Matty Ray out the front, it's not really going to matter too much for him. I'm sure he'd like to go a back-to-back win from yesterday and have another one today, but, you know, first run in the series, so probably not too concerned that he's going to have to stop again, because points won't be an issue for him.
No.
So, yeah, this strategy's going to really pay off for Wellman and Maxfield if they get that to work. And I think, by the look of it, Wellman's dropping back even further. So he's let the next pack that's caught up, and he's dropped to the back of that. So he's definitely on the big old fuel save.
Yeah, and this might work out for him, because with the fact that everyone is going to be in some sort of hardcore fuel save, we're not likely to get a caution to throw a wrench into the whole scheme, because no one's really going to be racing aggressive at this point. Everyone's trying to save as much as they can.
Yeah, we'll probably need to keep an eye on those lap times to, you know, see how much they slow down and see what we're sort of doing there. So, you know, qualifying lap was a 51.3 from Craig, but that's on his own. And we're that's the high end, you know, almost a 4. So we're only, you know, 100th faster with the pack at the moment. You can see there. That was their best lap on screen, but anyone can go fast with a push.
Yeah.
So won't be able to get those figures, but Matty Ray doing a 51.2 last lap around there, so still got a bit of pace out there. Like I said, Matty Ray won't be concerned. He'll just be trying to drag the field along, and the other ones up the front there will no doubt have to pit again.
Oh.
Shannon
Well,
Wright.
they're about to make me eat my words. Nope, they saved it.
Kim Roffey with a big moment there. It's a good catch. And just slowed everyone up. Shannon Wright with a big run from nowhere to the front.
Yeah, Shannon said, to heck with your fuel save. I'm going for first.
Yeah, well, that's something you can sort of do when you're at the front, you know, Matty Ray. You can control the pace of the race. You can slow that down. We've seen that before in a fuel saving race on super speedways. You know, those lap times slowly start dropping. You know, half a second here, a second there. So you can control the race pace. It's just the guys behind, if they want to be out the front going fast, or if they're happy to, you know, run slower laps.
You want to know who's probably the most miserable person in this race?
Wellman,
Cheatham.
he's trying to say.
No, Cheatham in the 888, because poor man got the black flag he had to serve on lap 1 and has basically been a lap down the entire race. Because we have not got that caution to help save him and bring him back up to the field and onto the lead lap.
Well, and it doesn't help when other drivers go a lap down as well, because then if you're not in front of them, you're not getting that lap back.
Nope.
So with Shannon right at the front, we're doing 51 flat. So there you go. We're about 2 to 3 tenths slower with Matty Ray at the front there, trying to maybe do a little bit of fuel saving on his own. So that'll probably start burning up fuel for everyone again, running a bit quicker. He's given a big push there to Shannon Wright. We're into the 59 last lap, so the train's picking up pace. Looks like they're even causing a little bit of a gap there. Kay Donnelly just there, a little bit of a gap behind to Braden Sagerser, and then Ryan Barber. So again, they'll have to put the foot down to close up those gaps, and then try and save again.
That's the worst thing too, when you're having to save fuel and you have to hit the gas to catch up to everyone. You're like, no, I can't afford to do this.
Yeah, well, it's either that or you get left behind and then you use even more fuel. So you've got to close those gaps to then get back onto saving fuel. When you're watching those numbers as well, it's like, well, now I've just burnt what I saved the last 5 laps.
Yeah, but like you said, you can't afford to drop off too much, It's like a Band-Aid. You gotta rip it off all at once. You gotta just make sure you catch up. Otherwise, if you fall back, and pull it off slower, it's just gonna hurt more and more.
Well, Derek Jacobs parked that car up for the night, so I think he'll be back to only having one fan. But, Shane Roffey with a dropout as well, unfortunately. So a couple of cars retiring for the night. It's about to be 16 to go soon. Yeah, you can definitely see the front of this pack wanting to go fast, because they know they're going to have to probably stop again, and those gaps are starting to emerge on the ones that having a little bit of a snooze on the fuel save. So hopefully they can catch them off and make them use up a bit more fuel and have to stop as well. But again, the likes of Wellman and Maxfield there, they're sitting at the back of this pack, so they don't really care what the others are doing at the front, because they can still keep fuel saving from the back. The ones that are sort of in the middle there, Ryan Barber, Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard, that had that extra lap they're going to be the ones that'll struggle to fuel save to get home with those gaps.
And you know what's interesting is that now, if I remember this correctly, I believe a couple of the Stimboy's cars were dominating Kentucky earlier in the season, only to get beaten out by an amazing fuel save strategy. And I want to say it was Wellman and Maxfield who had the race seemingly in hand. Probably wrong on that because I have the memory of the goldfish, but now it's we got a few takers already.
Well, I think it was Wellman that had his first win on a massive fuel save run, so he could get home, and I think that's where he got his first podium win. But when he tried the all-out pace race, it didn't tend to work out too well for him. So
Boy, I understand those feels.
Definitely looking at the fuel saving, but this is interesting. Kay Donnelly leaving pit lane. Shannon Wright's big time stopping. Oh no!
Wow.
Yeah, something not right there. So spent a lot of time in pit lane and then lit those rears up as well.
Yeah, that's gone from bad to worse there. Injury meet insult.
Maybe there was a bit of fuel leakage from Kay Donnelly's car in pit lane, and it just caught the wheels and round she went. Bit of sabotage there in pit lane. Parry and Astakis with a black flag on pit road, so those crucial last pit stop for some of these guys. Definitely don't want to be making that mistake now.
Yeah, and we touched on Perry's pit lane woes earlier on the first stop, and once again, bad to worse.
Well, Matty Ray still at the front. Kim Roffey in second there, so good to see Kim up the front there. Craig Roffey third, Braden Sagas fourth, Ryan Barber fifth. Those laps are counting down. Going to be 11 to go after this lap. It's going to be that magic number when everyone's deciding to break off to stop, and to see if the other fuel savers can make it home. That's probably what's going to hurt the fuel savers a bit as well, is they're going to have to do that lap on their own and then rejoin the group as they come out for fuel. So it's going to be a shorter stop for everyone taking that splash and go. So they're not going to get the full lap back on the ones that have to stop. So they're not going to be able to, keep fuel saving either. So it's going to be a hard ask for them to try and save that.
Yeah, but if you're trying the aggressive fuel save like Wellman and Maxfield are, everyone comes in but Matty Raymond. Whoa.
Ooh, we have some moments there.
Yeah, I don't know if Kim got it woed down in time.
Well, see, now you got Todd Maxfield, Wellman, and Peter Matson out on their own. So there's that lap. They're not going to be able to save that lap of fuel. They're burning up that fuel. And, Todd Maxfield's got Matty Ray in front, but it's a long gap to Matty Ray there.
Yeah, that's the thing though, is that yeah, they're not going to be able to fuel save
And now,
anymore.
Matty Ray's in. So again, they don't have that luxury of fuel save. So 10 to go, and they're burning fuel. It's going to be even a harder task now to try and save.
Yeah, but I always think of it this way. Yeah, I can't save as much fuel as I was going at that speed, but I can still save the same amount just going slower. That's the thing, is that you can still continue to aggressively fuel save. You're just going to be a lot slower doing that. That's the risk. But when you have a big gap, a not quite a full pit stop gap to everyone behind, but it's still a pretty healthy gap from the pit stop they did do. So you have a lot of space to work with to give back while you're fuel saving. Now the big question is that how much of that space do they give back? Because I can not guarantee, but I can figure that they're still saving the amount of fuel, still trying to run the same amount of throttle pressure. They're just not going as fast anymore because they don't have the draft to help them out. But they're still probably doing the same thing because you have to. You know for a fact you're not going to be able to go any faster and keep the same mileage. And, you know, at this point, you've made your bed, you gotta lie in it. You gotta stretch it and hope it works.
Well, just looking and, you know, from Todd Maxfield, Gary Wellman, Peter Matson, in top three, back to Troy Davidson, who stopped. They got about half a track advantage, so they do have a little bit, but that lap around, they were almost a second, well, they were 1.1 seconds slower, so there's 7 laps to go, and, you know, half a track, they might be able to hold on to that.
Yeah, because showing the gap at this point is 27 seconds, so only losing a second and a half, that's still going to be right around 18 to 19 seconds at this pace. Now as we're coming to 6 laps to go.
Yeah, and now, you know, they've got Shannon Wright in front as well, so that'll help a little bit for, you know, Todd Maxfield, Wellman, Matson there to, you know, get on the draft of Shannon Wright and use that to, you know, try and keep saving a bit of fuel, but have a little bit more pace with that draft as well. Looks like the Southern Stars boys there didn't want to sit behind Troy Davidson, so they made that move. Got around Troy Davidson, so lone Sim Boys driver by himself. A couple of road cars there. And we've got a yellow out.
Oh my goodness.
5 to go, and the yellow flag is flying. That looks like Craig Roffey, maybe?
Yeah.
Tony Roffey.
Oh.
So, we'll go to a caution here. This looks like maybe a push gone wrong. Yeah, that was a big push into the fence. Well, going to be a couple of drivers at the front there. They won't be happy that yellow flag's out, but
yeah,
might help them on the fuel though.
I don't know. If I'm Todd Maxfield, Gary Wellman, or Peter Matson, I am punching the air right now. That race was looking good. Obviously, we didn't know how that final lap was going to go fuel wise, but it was looking good. And now that half a track length of advantage, it's all gone. And now, just at this point, just save as much as you can under yellow and hope for the best now.
Jeez, well,
yeah.
I just jumped over to the chat, and that has been lit up for a while. So we're going to have a bit of a look through this. So Aaron Dillon was confirming that Wellman was fuel saving pretty hard. Peter Matson was looking good for a win there. Might be a little bit of a stir up there for Matson, so maybe a couple of friends in the chat there. But no, he's Peter Matson having a good run, so I'm sure he definitely going to be having a crack for the win. Glenn Pearce with like he could be getting a divorce tonight if Peter Matson doesn't win. Shannon Rod, I think we just got confirmation, went from dry to wet tyre. So looking for a fast sprint run in the last couple of laps when we go green again.
Yeah, Shannon, we saw that unfortunate final green flag stop. So already running at the back, might as well roll the dice. Nothing to lose at this point, and if it works out, well, that's one of the best calls I've ever seen in this series.
Oh well, we'll see what happens, how this plays out in our final laps. We'll go to a quick ad break and we'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
Alrighty, we are back. Round 10, the Doogie Mobile, everything simulated. OzOval V8 Supercar Series. Pace car truck lights are off. He finally got those laps out on the track. Made it out of pit lane. He was eager to get out there. Going to be 2 to go from green. Todd Maxfield's going to lead us away. Gary Wellman on the outside. Got Peter Matson, Ryan Barber on the second row there. And this is going to be a wild finish. So get on the edge of your seats. Get that popcorn going. Or get your beers up. Either way. be running this to the line to go green. Long way around. Looks like we're green. So a little bit shaky there. Peter Matson, looking to go for a squeeze. Looks like Wellman's copped a black flag off that restart. Nicholas Walsh has got a black flag as well.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is.
One.
Oh, good gracious.
God. Is the big one.
Yep. Oh, we waited 78 laps for it, and here it is. All the meatballs, the pasta has been served.
Well, let's have a look at a bit of a squeeze there. Andy Barber couldn't hold the middle there, I think, and round she went.
Yeah, it was staggered 3 wide. Looked like Matson came down just a tiny bit, because I highly doubt the spotter told him that it was 3 wide, because if he was using iRacing spotter is really bad when it comes to staggered 3 wide. So Peter probably had no idea what was going on to his inside, and Andy just had to move a little bit to the inside and just came down, and calamity ensues.
Well, there's a few cars, a lot of damage there. Tom Pritchard, Michael Latta, Shane Roffey, Troy Mortensen, Scott McClintock, Craig Roffey. A couple of black flags in there as well. Nicholas Walsh, Gary Wellman, Andy Barber.
Oh. Oh.
Wellman just putting on a bit of a show there for the pace car. He's been hanging out for the action. He's back out on track again, so he's having all the fun. Looks like Todd Maxfield's coming through pit lane, so we're going green, white checker, and he's not going to have the fuel for that, so he's coming to pit lane. So the biggest winner out of this, Ryan Barber, is to the front now. Braden Sagasser and Chris Bleakley. So that extra caution has helped out a few guys, I think, get to the front here.
Yeah, and also got Matty Raymond in P4 as well.
Yeah, good to see Matty Ray get back up there after leading most of this. And it looks like Glenn's getting that divorce, and can't send his kids through college either. So nice knowing you, Glenn. I'm sure Kobe might be able to chuck you up somewhere if you need boarding.
Yeah, Kobe is absolutely ecstatic about the prospect. He is looking forward to it. What's that? I'm being told I am now banned from broadcasting on this channel after that. Well, that's a shame.
Looks like the back of Scott McClintock's car's seen better days there as well. The old back bumper's missing off that one. The rear wing's gone as well. By the look of it, can't even see the wing on the back of his car.
It sure is. That is a problem. And it doesn't look like he has any interest in getting it fixed. So, yeah, that's gonna be something to watch here. I can't imagine it's gonna be handling too well, and being pretty fast without those very important parts on that automobile.
Well,
I am worried.
he's missing the back. If you look at Kimroffy, they're missing the front and the bonnet. So everything's gone off the front on Kimroffy's car. There you go. So a lot of damage on some of these cars through the field. So hopefully we can go green to checker. Hopefully we don't get the race finishing under a caution. But we'll find out in just a moment. Pace truck lights off, coming down the back straight. Sorry. We've got 2 green-white checkers, so if we go caution again, we've still got another chance to finish this race under green.
Hooray! It's kind of the calm before the storm here. We're just waiting to see how this finish unfolds.
Well, I don't know if there's much else we can say. Everyone's standing up on their feet as the cars are going around, so they're waiting for this big finish. Ryan Barber's going to lead us away. Phil Otto's pulling out of that, so looks like he's going to park that car, and he was in 5th. That's very interesting. He's got a black flag, so but we're green.
Great jump by Sagasser. Ryan Barber all alone. Now he's got Matty Raymond helping him out.
Well, he definitely needs a friend for a push, so I'm sure Matty Ray will be able to do that job for him.
And here comes the pack. It's a heck of a run by everyone else.
Ooh. Well, this is interesting mix.
Oh, very nearly pushing the pusher there.
Sagasser Bleakley on that inside line, Barber in behind. Matty Ray needs a friend. Kate Donnelly's coming up with Matson behind. We're white flag this time round, so we will be going to the checker. Peter Matson looking to try and make it 3 wide. He's looking to save Glenn's marriage.
Oh.
Bit of contact with Donnelly. That outside line's going to come alive. Need to get that draft working a bit better. Get that push going. Oh, we're in a sandwich for the finish here. Ryan Barber, huge inside run.
Again, at the line.
Oh, wow.
I think it's Barber. Ryan Barber. The move of the century. We were 5 wide.
Wow, that's the finish of the century right there, isn't it?
No kidding. We thought the Pocono finish was good. This is wild.
The push that went wrong for Bleakley and Sagasser, and they still managed to hold a second and third out of that as well. I think the sandwich on Matty Ray there helped that one, but there's the unofficial race results. Ryan Barber taking the win at Talladega. Chris Bleakley in 2nd and Braden Sagasser 3rd. Kate Donnelly finishing 4th. Troy Davidson 5th. Matty Ray on his debut race in 6th. Nicholas Walsh 7th, Peter Matson 8th. Sorry there, Greg. Craig Roffey in 9th, and Todd Maxfield in top 10.
11th is Kim Roff. Okay. 11th is Tony Roffey, actually. 12th, Shannon Wright. Nicholas Walsh rebounds to 13th after a speeding penalty. Phil Otto, last car in the lead lap, in 14th after having to pull off. Lachlan Purvis in 15th. Scott McClintock, 16th. Garrett Wellman, unfortunate break for him, in 17th. Andy Barber, Steve Hoppett, Perry Anastakis rounding out the top 20. Then Ross Cheatham, the unfortunate race, laps down the whole way through. Tim Blundell, 22nd. Michael Atner, 23rd. Troy Mortensen, 24th. Tom Pritchard in 25th. Shane Roffey, 26th. Derek Jacobs in 27th. And Adam Malone right there, 28th, 85 laps down. Full race distance down. Didn't even make it.
Alrighty, well, we'll let you catch a breath after that one there, James. And there's Ryan Barber. I think he's got no fuel to even do a burnout. So
Nope.
Run that to the fumes. So we'll get your podium up in the booth in just a moment. We'll go to a quick ad break.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
You've got what it takes. Ladies and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Alrighty, welcome back everyone. And that was round 10, the Digi Mobile Everything Simulator OzOval V8 Supercar Series, brought to you by Inside Lane Productions, Quasi Esports. At Talladega, that was quite the finish there, James.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the century right there.
Well, we got our podium in the booth with us, so we'll start off with Braden Sagerser. Hopefully I've got that right. I've been saying that right. You can correct me on that one. How you going, Braden?
Yeah, good mate. Yeah, it's pretty close. I've been called that my whole life, so I'm not too stressed.
Don't hold it against us then. P3 tonight. So you and Chris Bleakley, joining the I think it's the 1-9 boys, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah. So you've been running solo with the Rogue Sim boys, but you joined the field the last few races, and now you got a podium tonight.
I know. I was really disappointed in myself at Pocono, but we'll scratch that weekend off. That was all me, but it was good to get a podium on my week back. It felt really nice. Just got a weird little bump from my teammate coming out of the corner. I think that's just super speedway racing, and I'm glad I was able to crawl back to a podium.
Yeah, well, I think you boys used Matty Ray there as a bit of protection to keep you guys going straight, because that push went a little bit wrong and almost in the wall, but yeah, you bounced back into Matty Ray there, and you both used him as a sandwich to keep you going straight to the podium.
Yeah. Obviously not intentional. I think that's just hard racing, but I really enjoyed that race. That was good strategy calls, and a great finish to end it.
Yeah, definitely. And how'd you find strategy-wise tonight with fuel?
I think it was pretty good. Not too much really. It was just pitting with a group of people and then trying to come out, link up, and then try and go as fast as possible.
Yeah, right. I think there might have been a couple of guys that were trying to run it on a two-stopper, and that caution coming out on 5 to go ruined that one for him. But, yeah, obviously the three-stopper worked well, so that sort of put Todd Maxfield out. He had to those green white checkers. He had to pit for fuel as well, but that opened the doors, and nice little third place for yourself tonight.
Yeah, thank you. That was a hell of a race. Still trying to catch my breath after it.
Yeah, well, we'll let you go and celebrate. So if you've got any shout-outs to sponsors or fans at home?
Just the 1-9 boys and also the Road boys for helping us out tonight. They're a really good bunch of blokes to work with.
Alrighty, well, thank you, Braden. And we'll let you go, and we'll pass you over to James.
Alrighty. Sorry. Alrighty, Chris Bleakley. Heck of a P2 right there. Heck of a finish. Now, take the folks at home through what was going through that the little bit with your teammate coming off a turn 4. You told us about it briefly there during the ad break.
Yeah, I think that was... I was right up his clacker, and I think I backed off a little bit, and I think Ryan gave me a touch, and then it's sort of a bit of a chain reaction, just a bit of bumper cars, and then it just didn't hit him quite square and put him off, but Braden knew that it was last lap, so I was going to hold the hammer no matter what had happened. So I thought it was all over when I was pointing towards the fence, when Braden bounced off the wall and pushed Raymond into me. I thought I was all over, but somehow it straightened up and I was able to get back behind Ryan and almost get it back from him. So, yeah, I think it was just super speedway racing pretty well. Just a couple of bumps and one was awkward and gave Braden a tank slapper.
Now, speaking of the final lap, did you have any sort of strategy going on? What was your guys' plan there for the last lap and coming off of turn 4, especially before all that stuff happened?
Well, from the restart, like obviously we wanted to get that white flag. Because we would have had to pit again if we had another green-white checker. So we wanted to get to that white flag. So Raymond on my outside didn't quite get the launch. So as soon as I had the chance to team up with Braden, I got straight behind him and pushed him. I pushed him to the front and we dropped down low, and basically, yeah, I was just considering pushing Braden all the way to the finish. With Raymond coming up on the outside, I didn't know what kind of run he had. I just thought if we held it down low and I pushed Braden along, that was how it was, and then maybe pull out right towards the line to try and get it off of him. But yeah, it was pretty much just get out of 4 and see what happens. But yeah, just unfortunate with that unlucky bump, I think.
So obviously the fuel strategy played a huge role in this race. Was there ever any, decisions made or game plan on trying to focus on saving fuel, or was it more just, pushing a little more from the get-go and throughout the race?
Not really. I don't think there really was much fuel strategy. I don't think you could have got away with a one less stop. It was way too much fuel you needed to put on, so I think it was always a 3 stopper. But for the first 3 quarters and even towards the end, basically it was get to the last five laps in the train and just self-preservation basically. Because super speedway racing, there's always a big one and it can come at any time. It doesn't necessarily always happen on the last lap, so it was just waiting to see if that was going to happen early or whenever, and it was just trying to avoid it pretty well.
What was going through your mind when we got that first caution there with a couple laps to go?
Yeah, game on pretty well. The way the pit cycle worked out, kind of were separated from the trains a little bit, so probably wouldn't have had a good result if it wasn't for the caution. But yeah, so it definitely helped, but you got to take it when it presents itself, and I think we did the best we could to get what we could out of that opportunity.
Alrighty, well, that was a heck of a run there at the end. Any sponsors, plugs, or shout-outs you want to give tonight?
Yeah, just the rest of the 1-9 boys. It's hard being a team boss, being basically the only oval driver, but every now and then the boys come in and help me out, so it's good. The Rogue boys, yeah, they've been a good team to team up with all year pretty well. Yeah, you guys in the booth and organisers, yeah, just thanks for that. And I believe Craig has probably mathematically got the championship now, unless he gets a million penalties next week, but you can double check that, but I believe Craig's mathematically got it now, so congratulations to Craig.
Alrighty, and we'll send it over to Paul for your race winner.
Alrighty, well, yeah, 14 points behind, I think, coming into this race. Can't recall quite where Craig finished tonight, so
I was
still be a...
I was 56 points behind going into this one.
That doesn't seem right. What you had on the screen earlier tonight, so we'll see. We'll check those ones. But anyways, our race winner tonight at Talladega, Ryan Barber. How you going, Ryan?
Hey, mate, I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, I bet you are now with a win at Talladega.
Yeah, I didn't expect to get the win tonight, especially coming into this race, not taking it as seriously as usual. Had some rallycross before the server opened, so I came in and just decided that I was going to have fun and see how the race was going to pan out.
Yeah, well, you're nice and warmed up doing that to catch any sliders, but unlike Matty Ray there in the background of the big slide looking on screen there. But no, let me paint a picture for you there, Ryan. So, in the openings of the season, we had Adam Malone had a couple of podiums with second places. Couldn't get the win done. Through the season, we had your old man Andy Barber. He had a podium with a second place, and Tom Pritchard, I think last week we had a podium with a second place, and now we've got yourself with a win. So finally the Southern Stars boys have broken that second place podium with yourself with a win.
Yeah, I guess the boys needed some young blood to secure the win, but the boys have been good throughout the championship, and I've been trying to build up on my own racing skill as I've only just come back and I've only just started actually building a rig. So I've been on the sidelines for about a year or so, doing everything else except racing. So it's good to come back, and obviously throughout this series I've gotten more confident in pushing my way to the front, and tonight tried to go for the win, had my spotter Tom calling out where everybody was, and I was just fortunate to get to the line first.
Yeah, nice. We've definitely been looking faster out there on track over the last few races. We might have to get you back on comms in the booth again.
Yeah, I think so.
But, good run tonight. Noticed you're hanging out with Tom and Andy through that race, and you're one lap earlier to Wellman and Maxfield on the pit stop strategy. Now I don't know compared to the other boys, Chris Bleakley and that, where they were. I think they might have been a lap or two earlier again, but could you have made that home, or do you reckon even Wellman and Maxfield, even Matson out the front there, the three before that caution come out, you reckon they could have probably brought that one home if we went caution free?
Honestly, it was pretty tight at the end there. The first kind of stint that we did before we came in, I was sitting back with the boys saving my fuel, and then once we came out with the pit lane, I started to get more aggressive. For that second stop, we had to come in because I was pushing up the front, and I was low on fuel, so we had to come in a lap earlier. So kind of sacrificed their race a little bit more. If I could have made that one more lap last, I don't think we would have had to need to stop when we did, but it was very fortunate for that caution to come out because all three of us were short at the end, and I would say that the other boys would have been very close as well.
Yeah, well, I did notice that as you go back through the broadcast later, that Todd Maxfield managed to do 27 laps. So if they could have gone caution free, I think, and if Wellman managed 26, so if they could have pulled out, I reckon, a win there. So that caution was working in a few favours tonight, I think. So would have been a hard ask, but anyway, not to take away from your win, you had a nice move there to come round from 3 back on that third row to take the win.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen. I was working with Matthew Raymond throughout that race too. When I got up the front, he was pushing me, and I trusted him, not to, pit me into the wall or anything. So once we went through that green-white checker, and he approached me and he was behind me. Obviously, I had Tom spotting me, and Tom called out that Raymond was coming up, and then as I was watching Raymond approach my car, I had a smile on my face, and I was excited to work with him. But he just saw the opportunity with those two 1-9 cars to move up the front and like move up into the middle line to overtake. So I was just very lucky to be where I was. You know, I've worked hard throughout the season to be in the position where I am now, and I was very fortunate to have, you know, Tom helping me because he's always been good on the super speedways, have a dad back me as well. And, you know, at the end of the day, super speedways is always about luck. And, you know, you can essentially come to a super speedway and, you know, pull a name from a hat and, you know, there's any chance for anybody to get the win. So I was just lucky tonight to be where I was.
Yeah, that's sometimes the way it goes. Luck can take away from everyone else's victories, but not to take away from yours tonight. You're the victor, so the spoils and the chockies go to you. So well done. We'll let you go and celebrate with your team, and yeah, if you got any shout outs to give and sponsors.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I wouldn't be here tonight if I wasn't, you know, racing with Dad. He's ultimately the number one person to thank here. I got my grandparents, they live up north. You know, they cheer me on whatever series I'm in, you know, at whatever time. So tonight I had them, you know, watching the stream and they're happy and, you know, hopefully they were cheering as well. We got Mish's Excel Garage, RBI Trading Cards and 7-Eleven as our sponsors. Big thanks to them. And, you know, ultimately thank you guys for the broadcast. It looks awesome. I love watching it every night. And a special thanks to the boys that run the league too. They do a good job.
Cheers, mate. And yeah, RJ every week tuning in to cheer you boys on and the team. So we look forward to that every week and getting involved in the chat. And bit of a plug there for him. So yeah, well done to you and the team. So alrighty, well, we'll let you go celebrate. But that's a wrap for round 10 at Talladega. Next week we've got a week off for Easter, so from everyone here, OzOval, V8 Supercars, all our sponsors, we wish everyone a happy Easter and a safe time in the holidays. And we'll be back the following week for our final round for the season to wrap up and crown our new champion season winner for the new V8 Supercars. So the season's coming to a close, James. We going to be one round to go in a couple of weeks. The championship point looks pretty wrapped up there, almost. So we'll be crowning that victor in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to see it.
Well, thank you everyone tuning in at home, and from all of us and our sponsors, Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, Quasi Esports. Don't forget to tune in on April the 24th, just before Anzac Day. And we will catch you for the wrap-up of the season at Charlotte. Till then, we'll have a good weekend.